All right. Hey, guys, and welcome to the first episode of the Mysteries of Selindor. If you haven't played a D&D with us before, be aware, chat, there is, I guess, now only one thing that you're allowed to do to screw with us, which is reroll 500 points, little Starbucks points, the channel rewards. If you want to mess with us during the RPG, feel free. You can use it to reroll good roll or bad roll. Just specify who you are forcing to reroll whenever you redeem it. And we can have a whole lot of fun with that. Secondly, apologize for all the technical difficulties. If we have more along the way, all I can say is I blame Sim. And
Working as intended.
Yeah, and we're just going to try to have fun tonight. So I hope you guys do as well. So, everyone, let me pull up one of my 800 pages that I haven't seen in a long time because of all of our fucking around.
She's coming back already. You're coming back. You just
So-
want to be on Twitch.
For all of you, my players, for the past 2 days, you've been traveling into the Undermountain of the Devil Spine Pass. I would say that they have so far been 2 very boring and also equally stressful days, where you have not been allowed to make noise, shine a light, talk to one another, get to know anything. Just traveling through this very deep, dark pathway through the mountain. Hood lanterns have been used to light the little bit of way that you can see. Luckily, most of you have dark vision, so it hasn't been too terrible on the
I
sight
don't
front.
think I do.
But during this pass, you've seen nothing much except for a very large cavernous opening, very obviously crafted by dwarfs with its high arching sculptures that seem to be made of dwarven heroes on either side of the pass. There were carvings and outlets going out, which you have been informed before leaving from Cropper's Folly on this pass, seemed to have something to do with a sort of creature that liked to invade the area, which sort of made it a less than desirable form of passage from Mirabar to the Mithril Hall. Currently, after 2 days of long, arduous, dark, and quiet travel, you finally see light at the end of the tunnel. A breath of cold air greets you as you look around, and you find yourselves finally stepping out of the Undermountain and onto the Devil Spine proper. Looking out, you see, as you will in the Roll20, the general view. It's the morning light, sunrise. Looking out with the caravan all around you at this beautiful sight. The voice of Alstengrin, who is your caravan's leader, perks up in front. I know it's all been quiet, sad, and very dreary journey so far, but the boring part's over. All of you, from here on out, you can speak, light, get to know each other, all that good stuff. Just remember to be safe, because it's definitely a more dangerous journey now than it was before. We'll be leading at the front of the pack. We'll be going in different orders. Camps will no longer be as an entire group, but as individual groups. Claviden, your group, all your loggers, they're going to be in our first camp. Raiden, as you know, you will be in the last camp as requested and paid for. The rest of you contractors, you're going to be in the centermost camp. Now, I know that's definitely the safest place for all of you. So just be prepared. Get to know the people you're going to be spending your nights with. Everything should be safe and hunky-dory. We're going to go ahead and grab lunch now. If you'd like to meet with one another, that's fine. We're not going to be breaking again till we hit camp tonight, which is going to be on the far side. So of about 8 hours travel. So be prepared and get yourselves ready. So for the first time in 2 days, you're finally hearing somebody speak. And by the way, for my players, if any of you have any questions about what you've done so far or what this pass is or is about or it's going, let me know. Otherwise, you are surrounded by plethora of different people, 3 different carts, as well as a very gaudy looking man on a horse that is very definitely not a real horse. And those are the notable aspects of the group surrounding you. Knowing your position, by the way, you would all know that you are contractors, with the exception of our good friend Milnir, right?
Mitnir.
Mitnir, sorry. Mitnir.
Yeah.
There's so many names. Our good friend Mitnir, who is actually been hired as protection. So the rest of you, on the other hand, have been instructed to greet your fellows.
Is
So
there anybody?
Are we like breaking for a camp right now, or just
Yeah,
taking a break?
he's literally like he said, we're gonna take a break for lunch real quick after the morning's travel, and then we're gonna head on out, and it's gonna be another 8 hours travel with no break. So,
But we're not like setting up camp or nothing though. We're just kind of
no, there's basically they stopped the carts. There are a couple of different, very very large individuals that are moving through the camp, bringing you guys any foods that you might need. Should you need foods from the caravan itself, otherwise, I'm sure you all packed your own stuff. But you know these two as the musclemen of the caravan, a very, very large, muscular Goliath named Alvul, and a equally large, buff female half-orc named the Borba. So they walk by and they say, "Do you need any grub? I can get you grub if you need grub." And you can see that they're handing them out to various individuals throughout the caravan.
that was definitely the female orc talking, right?
Yes, that was the female.
I'm just gonna grunt and stick my hand in my pocket, pull out some old mushrooms, just pop those in my mouth. But I'm good.
I'll hide mushrooms, all right, we will. I'll go sick for a week. Good on you, then. Moves on to the next person. And they just go throughout the line. This is just an opportunity for any of you, if you want to introduce yourselves, describe your characters to one another, anything like that before we move on. If you want to keep to yourselves, you can do that as well.
So has it been silent like the whole time we've been on the caravan?
Literally, nobody has been allowed to talk for 2 days.
And that's like we didn't like all talk to each other before that, right?
And you might have. Basically, the caravan was introduced, but I don't know about you guys, but whenever I meet up for a group of people I don't know and there's no immediate meet and greet and they immediately set out into a mountain pass where they're not allowed to talk, nobody fucking talks.
It's a big game of charades the whole time.
Yeah, that's pretty typical.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so basically nobody's introduced themselves and they've been traveling together for 2 days.
So we all know sign language now.
A little bit.
I'm sure we
seen
have
each other-
developed like, yeah.
You've seen each other through hooded lanterns, but it's mostly just been quiet and just it's boring, but also stressful because you have to be quiet. Bad 2 days of travel.
How large is this caravan as a whole? Are we
About
talking
30
like...
people
Okay.
total. 29 to be exact.
To be exact.
I was hoping you were going to say 29 and a half.
Yeah, there's a gnome in there somewhere.
There is actually a gnome.
That's the half.
All right, well, you can eat your own food. Anybody who wants the food given by the caravan, it's just bread. Everybody, I guess after 2 days of traveling in the dark and the quiet, they just look at each other and they just nod. They're just like, I don't feel the need to get to know you. And after about an hour of this awkward silence, Alston comes in front of everybody and says, "Well, hopefully you all brighten up as the day goes by. There's a safety line on the left if anybody needs to use it. We'll be traveling safely. First group, as I said, all of you loggers, you're up front. We can't all follow in the same large pack we did before. It's going to be a much more narrow path. So keep it safe, keep it simple, and keep your wits. It's the most important thing on this pass. And they begin moving. So you're all kind of just walking next to each other. The light of the sun, light breeze. It's chilly, but not frozen air. You're definitely far north, but not all the way into the icy sea or anything of that nature.
So we can all see each other? Or...
Oh yeah, you're all standing right next to each other. I would say this: the entirety of the people that are walking between you, in front of you, there's a large black iron cart, which seems like an unnecessary thing to be trekking through with this particular pass. And then, I'm sorry, that's behind you. Behind you is the big metal cart. Ahead of you, you see that there is a strange-looking man with a very high-collared, pleated leather shirt or trench coat, riding what looks like a mechanical horse. And then further into the distance, you can see the rest of the caravan. It's hard to pick out, but there's at least a few people on horseback. The carting itself. With you specifically, there's a family of 3. There is a family of 3 dwarfs, a mother, father, and a small child. The small child has almost as much beard as his mother does. There is also traveling with you a couple of half-elves that seem to be smiling if you look in their direction. And they'll just give you a nice kind smile and nod, everybody being quiet as they have this entire time. And then there's what looks to be a very, very excitable... I'm not sure if anybody knows for sure what race he is without making a nature check. But his skin is very blue. He has a flat nose, and he has what looks like a scholar's cap on. Nice robes, and he looks so fucking hyped. During this entire journey so far through the caverns, he was the only one who looked like he was having a fun time.
Is it a sea elf?
Did you make a history check? What'd you roll?
I made a 22 nature check.
Oh, nature check. It is not a sea elf.
Well, she asked if it was a sea elf. I'm just looking at it.
No. This particular entity is called a Vedelkin.
Oh!
The blue pig man.
He is very tall, about a head higher than your average human. So about 6.5 to 7 feet tall.
About my height.
Yeah, he's about the same height as you as a furbolg, but he doesn't have the same sort of cowish nose or
cowish nose.
but no, flat nose and a bit tall, skin, but he's very skinny, very lean, but incredibly excited about everything that he's seeing as he's walking along the path. Now that you guys haven't actually introduced yourselves to one another, looking from side to side, let's say from the perspective of you, Mitnir, who are currently the guarding force for this particular group. This is your first time on the caravan, but you've been hired to go through it. Looking around at the people you're protecting, you see the ones that I described. You also see a very, very beautiful half-elf, as far as you can tell, with silver hair and pink tips. You see what looks like a strange cowman. You're not so sure. Unless you make a nature check to let me know if you know what a furbolg is.
No, I wouldn't have him. I'd be like, he looks like a big animal.
Yeah, I mean, so he's very, very, very tall. You see a man, pretty much shadowed features, wearing a mask. Nothing very descript. You see an individual who is very definitely a tiefling, of which you know definitely what those are. And something that catches your eye so very quickly, a pink bird. Very, very small entity.
To be fair, she's wearing a cloak, so you might not notice that immediately.
I mean, if you've seen your face at all whatsoever.
It's just a witch doctor mask. It's
There's
fine.
an effort. She's hiding behind the awning.
Fly wearing a cloak?
Well, she's not flying right now. She's walking.
Good question that I need to also know.
No.
What's the carrying?
Okay.
What is the carrying capacity?
of an unladen pink bird.
Oh my god.
Uh,
We're off to a good
so,
start.
You guys are just walking for 8 hours, so feel free to talk to each other.
Yeah, I think there's we age in this kind of like awkward silence of like we haven't talked in 2 days. Seti's probably like looking around, waiting for some kind of cue socially from anybody, and then we're just like walking along this horrible, dangerous
It's
ledge.
a very craggy ledge.
And she just kind of blurts out, should I play some music? Do we need... I think we all forgot how to talk. No music? Okay.
Everybody just looks around at you and just goes,
He's just gonna look at you and be like, not a word, just nods.
Yeah? You want some music? Okay. So she's using like there's a rope to like cling to, right?
yeah, if you need it, on the left there's a safety line, that one.
Yeah, so she'll grab that in her left hand, and then with her right she'll start. She has a drum hanging at her side, just a really simple, almost like a tambourine, but without the little cymbal things. And she starts patting that in like a marching beat as we go, and then she starts chanting like just sort of this little musical ditty, but it's in some weird language, but it's noise. And she seems very happy making it.
I'm gonna just turn to whoever's close and be like, is she gonna do this the whole 8 hours?
You turn and you're speaking to the Videlkin, who turns and looks at you and says, I truly hope so. This is very exciting.
Mitnir starts to like walk in with the rhythm, like just kind of like
Left, right, left.
Very, very off tune and off the beat of what's happening.
That's fair. I cannot hear it.
You do see that the kid, the little young dwarf kid, starts going, I like it, and starts bouncing around, and you see the mom just trying to keep him away from the edge, pulling him closer in, as he just keeps wandering slightly off course and back in.
Do not envy that mom right now.
Well, you can't really tell this about Orin due to having a mask covering his face, but he's just taking in all the sights and everything because he's never seen anything like this before. So he's very
Yeah, looking out over the edge of the cliff, it looks like
loving the view.
It looks like the mountains themselves have turned nearly sideways. At like a 45-degree angles, the mountains seem to jet out over this expanse. Looking below you to the right, you can actually see the Lurkwood down below you. And looking across the Devil's Spine itself, out into the distance, you see as it's sort of this twisted ridge line that goes across it. It almost looks like it's been hollowed out as a cliff, just extending above the Lurkwood itself out into the distance. It's an astonishing view.
Seti cuts herself off mid-chant and just kind of blurts, does anybody know any history about this place? I mean, it's huge.
I do. I'm actually quite excited to be here on this particular fast. It's very nice to meet you all, by the way. I know we've been in the darkness, but I was truly just admiring the amazing sculptures that the Mithril dwarves made for creating this passage. Quite an interesting creation. My name is Cleary, by the way. Cleary Aranesta. I hail from the University of Phoenix. And I'm here particularly to study the mysterious sculptures of the past. I'm not sure if you're all aware of them, but they're quite an interesting phenomenon.
I miss those.
I haven't seen many so far. Of course,
Oh,
the
okay.
sculptures in the Undermountain, but those are all well noted. Constructions during the time when the original pass was created, of course, they've worn over time and become much less beautiful than they were. But since then, the pass itself, which was mainly made and carved out and made passable, seems to have, and he just keeps going.
Seti's
I
listening.
more in the dark.
You talk too fast. Why are you care so much about rocks? Somebody broke rocks.
Though they broke them very artfully, of course. And I particularly,
Yellow rock.
I am an art major at the University of Phoenix.
Oh, that means something.
Where is this university?
I wanted to say Arizona so bad.
Leans over. I don't think it's real.
Oh.
Oh, it's far east from here in the desert.
What is the desert like?
Dry, not nearly as cold and windy and quite thrilling as it is here. But you see, there have been many.
Where is everybody else from?
Oh, he quiets himself like immediately.
Aw.
At least he picked up on that cue.
Said he looks around expectantly, awaiting answers.
Depends on when. I've been there. I've been from there. I've been from there.
Oh, you've been a lot of places then. That's exciting. What is your favorite place?
Home.
Where's home?
Now I don't know complete geographic region of place, but is there like Gagnor? Is there like a place that's kind of wooded, mountainy area?
Where you are right now is very wooded.
Well, but further, like I know here, but not like.
Okay, let me pull up the map. I mean, there's tons of places throughout. Where's my map? Is it on the other screen? Sorry, I've got like 18 screens pulled up.
30 miles southeast from where we are right now.
Well, I need a general direction from where we are versus so I can at least point.
I mean, yeah. So that's the. Are you talking about the Simienne, or are you talking about the? There's tons of mountain ranges, and then there's the high forest and star mounts. There's all kinds of stuff around here.
How about something off Star Mounts then? Just whatever the
Yeah,
direction.
that's a very large mountain. It's about 150 miles wide. That sits in the middle of the high forest.
Okay. So just from a place that looks like this kind of points down towards the woods, less ominous, and then points out in the direction of that Starford, good ways that way.
Very nice. It sounds lovely.
Been a while since I've been there.
I'm sorry. You must miss it.
Miss what I remember of it.
I just left home and I don't miss it yet, but well, I guess we'll see.
And where are you from, little drama girl?
My name is Seti, and I am from an island. And she kind of looks around, and I don't remember which direction. It's off the coast. Like a day swim.
Swim? You swam here?
Mostly. Well, not here. I walked and met up with other people and went through some towns, and then I found the caravan, and that seemed like a much better way to travel than swimming or walking by yourself.
I suppose that's fair in a fashion.
I never did much traveling, so
Usually when people cross large bodies of water, it's on a boat, not swimming.
yes. I thought about stealing one, but then I thought maybe that wouldn't be very nice.
Probably not. I guess swimming is the lesser of the two problems there.
Yeah, it was fine. And my pack, and she shows you her backpack. It's water resistant, so she gives it a little
Yeah, but
cat butt.
By the way, feel free to actually describe your characters in detail. I was trying to make it as bland as possible. But if you want to describe how your character actually looks, feel free to do so.
I put a picture of Seti in the Discord, so that will be my description.
Okay, it looks like Sim does right now, but with a slightly more extravagant outfit.
She does wear makeup, like the top half of her face is like this, pink color, like pastel. And then
Which
there's
was
like,
there.
yeah, you can't see it anymore. It came off. But then she's got like some lines drawn with like a shiny kind of white in a very like tribal-ish kind of look.
And then just to backtrack just a little bit, if you'll describe yourself, Mood.
Yeah, so super scales are really, really dark blue. You put them in, dark light, barely looks blue, almost looks black at that point. Fairly big. I think I said about 7 feet, so stand over normal people quite a bit. Really bright amber eyes, though, that contrast versus all the scales on his face and whatnot.
Nice.
And has, axe on his back, just kind of looking around because he's supposed to be working.
I will add that Seti's eyes are completely black, just like really, really jet black. If you get close enough, there's like a tiny little hint of really dark purple, but very dark.
And then if you'll go ahead and describe what greed looks like for us. Tipsy.
Oh, well, apparently Seti's eyes, but as a person. Dark purple. These large black horns that are curving off the side of his head, and his eyes are completely stark white. And he's in like just kind of this mishmash of like parts of like leather armor, and then just black robes and a big old witch hat.
Nice.
So walking next to you, lumbering, probably listening to this freaking cat butts.
I'm listening.
Cats everywhere. Where's Starbuck?
I know, I'm gonna go hunt down my cat.
Like, fuck D&D. Let's go pick up our cat, guys.
It's just show and tell.
It's kitty time.
Everyone's characters turned into tabaxis.
Yeah.
And
Let's go. But definitely walking by and listening to this conversation, we see a tall Furbolg, if you would like to describe yourself. Furberg. Furbolg, if you'd like to describe yourself, Grim.
He's Grim. He's just kind of like ratty looking. I mean, he's really dirty. There's like moss growing in places. Probably a few mushrooms here and there, like behind the ears.
I don't like the smell of that one.
He smells really bad. Like he's gross. But no, I mean it's like if like a ugly Furbolg was dead but not dead and kind of like crawled up out of the ground and just kind of didn't clean itself off. That's kind of Grim. Just like
He took
gross.
a dirt nap.
Yeah, just took a dirt nap and lay there for a couple months and then got up. That's probably
So
Grim.
he hibernated. And
Pretty, I mean, yeah,
didn't clean up afterwards and didn't find a cave or any form of shelter, just laid out there in the... Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, so you guys are walking next to that. The smell has definitely hit the young dwarf who is walking behind. He's going... and just pointing, and you can see like the mom's like, don't point at him while he's talking, like just shush. And then I guess further to the back, walking behind him, definitely catching like full whiff of this is the masked figure. If you would like to describe yourself, or
Well, he's like average height, humanoid. You don't really know what race he is because he's completely covered. He's got a cloak with a hood, and he wears a full facial mask. If you got really close, you could only really see his eyes, which are like a bright golden yellow color. And they sort of give off a really faint glow if you're in the dark. And he hasn't talked much on this trip so far. He's just sort of taken it all in.
I don't think he's talked at all on this trip so far.
No, probably not.
Yeah. Looking down, if your eye line were to travel down and directly next to Arin, there's another strange, very, very short, barely defeating the ground itself as far as eye line goes. Little creature, if you would like to describe yourself, Brapsi.
Okay, Brapsi is a 4.5-foot tall Aarakocra. Her feathers are shades of pink and gray, and her eyes are similarly dark pinkish. She clings to Arin's side at all times and does not talk to people because people are spoopy.
Okay. So as you guys continue traveling down this road, the quiet starts to hit a little bit, but as you guys kept talking and introducing yourselves just a little bit to one another, sorry, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Arik. Nice to meet you all. Thank you very much for the music. This here is my wife, Freuja. And this little one, his name is Fjorn. And we are traveling to Mithril Hall together with all of you. And I thought we should introduce ourselves. We all have not as many skills as I believe the rest of you do with your fancy weapons. But we are here together with you.
I'll just sort of like look at his club, which is literally like
Yeah.
thick,
Fancy weapon.
fancy.
Yeah, they're all like just like laden with what looks like everything they own. Like the rest of you guys seem to be traveling. They seem to be like migrating.
Well,
What's your reason for traveling to the hall then?
Well, my husband and I, we're moving with our little boy Fionn, and we're traveling down to Mithril Hall to set up shop. My husband is a very good blacksmith, and we are really hoping that we will make our living for ourselves.
that sounds nice. Was it not a good living as a blacksmith where you came from?
There's just a lot of competition in Mirabar.
Oh.
It was a lot more humans, and they have many forges, and they smelt many things. But there was not a lot of coal there for our particular expertise. Mine specifically is in a new art form that I don't believe there is a lot of. How could you tell me what this art form is? I'd be very happy to hear it. You see as the Videlkin comes in, just completely unannounced, and he begins to pull Alric away to have a small conversation about his wares.
Well, secrets don't make friends.
Just like crane's neck, like trying to.
All right, if you want to listen to it, just make a perception check.
It's fine. They're just talking about playing with rocks.
Oh, right, it's in here.
Do you have something against rocks?
Yeah, did you not play with rocks when you were a kid?
Why did you play with rocks? Rocks. There's no life. Just rock.
Well, I guess that's fair.
But doesn't moss grow on rocks?
That
Yeah,
might
so
be
moss is
very
fine.
interesting rocks, big man.
Could
Comes
it be
from
that
the-
one? I do know.
Comes from what? Who said what?
At 11, now you really can't hear what they're talking about. Mostly they're talking too fast for you to keep pace
Just-
with.
Talk.
And you can see that even Ulrich's getting fairly excited about the conversation. The other two half-elves that are trailing behind Orin and Brapsi haven't said a fucking word. They're just, if you look at them, they smile back at you. Otherwise, they're just...
Do not smile. What the fuck? Who said that?
They're creepy as fuck.
Yep, you look at them,
Ah.
they're walking, placid face, you look at them.
You talking about the half elves?
The half-elves, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, have oh, I thought you were talking about Brapsian.
I'm just gonna like.
No, I'm saying behind you guys.
Oh, behind. Okay.
They're- behind the two of you, there are the half elves that have been traveling.
Okay, they can
Haven't
smell
said a
me.
word, haven't made a part of this, but if you look at them, if you just look at them and catch their eye, they'll look back at you and smile. And it's a little
Yeah,
a
that's
little
weird.
creepy.
I don't like that.
Nope.
Can
Not about that life.
Yeah, can I just speak to them in Elvish and just
Sure.
kind of look back over and crane my neck past everybody and just, you all right back there?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
They're behind us. They're behind.
Yeah, well, she calls back in Elvish and looks sort of. Oh, they can look over you. These half elves are like 6 foot tall, so she looks over you and sees the two of them walking behind. Calls out, "You guys doing fine?" It's a kind of a ways between the two of you. It's about 10, 15 feet. So they just sort of wave and smile.
Okay, it's still uneasy that they're behind me.
Yeah, they're if you want to make an insight check, you can
Yes.
get a better read on what these guys feel to you.
I definitely do not trust
Oh,
these.
okay.
I am-
There's too many people. I don't know.
They're really hard to read.
I don't trust anyone.
They're hard to read. You can't really get a good feel for what's going on. They seem polite. They seem nice and friendly. They don't seem.
I was likewise squinting at the creepy smiley elf people.
Oh, you're likewise squinting at them. With a 22 insight, actually, I mean, as far as you can tell, they seem genuinely friendly, if not a little quiet. Awkward, friendly. Maybe they don't understand common, because they do not seem to have picked up on anything anybody has said so far.
Even the elvish that she said?
I mean, you weren't 100% sure what came through there either. But
I knew what came through the elvish.
you speak Elvish?
That's what I was checking. I was looking
He
at
sure
my
does.
languages. Apparently I
Oh,
speak
well, yeah.
common, druidic, elvish, giant, undercommon.
Wow, that's a lot of languages. Yeah, you definitely heard the voice go back, and they definitely reacted to it and sort of perked up and smiled and waved. But you're not sure if they was just they didn't want to seem rude talking over it. But so far, there doesn't seem anything too odd. The female half elf looks relatively quiet. The male seems genuinely friendly.
I just let me know if you need anything.
So you guys, is there anything particularly you would like to do? Anybody you would like to talk to?
I just real quick, kind of like looking at the people to my side. I'm like, I don't come across that way, do I? Is that an elvish thing?
No, you talk more than they.
Okay.
Yes. They're creepy. You are annoying.
Okay. Thank you
Not
for the
how I would have
clarification.
described it, but not wrong.
On the other side of him, you just hear, "Oh, really? That's very interesting."
Not as annoying as the blue guy.
Do you think I talk too much? Is that it?
You talk a lot.
Well, there was silence for 2 days, and that was nice, I guess, but kind of depressing.
It's okay. Don't worry. I will push the blue man off the cliff first.
No, I don't think that would be
I
a
don't
good
think
idea.
I can let that happen.
Unless he can fly.
It might not come to that. Just if I have to push someone off a cliff, it's probably going to be the blue man.
I like
Uh,
inch a little further away from Grim.
Mitnir, as this isn't actually this wasn't actually your first. No, this is your first time in the past. I'm
Not in
sorry.
the past.
Yes, this is your first time in the past. So you as a person supposed to be protecting the caravan, obviously you wouldn't let that stand.
Well, that's why I was like, I don't think I can let that happen.
Greed, you on the other hand, this is not your first time in the past, and there's probably this little inkling of discomfort hearing the idea that he wants to push somebody off of the edge. You knowing that the history of this place just a little bit. So a part of you sort of perks up and becomes maybe even a little bit suspicious of Grim in this sort of situation.
Boy, already starting the tension in the party.
After that, though, Mitnir will go to the other side of the guy and just move him slightly closer to the wall.
Just like sort of
just
grumble
like,
to myself.
You
Like,
just like you're gonna move over there. Here, grab onto this guide rail.
Just kind of just like
That's
pat him
how-
on the shoulder.
not actually going to push anybody on the cliff.
All right,
Can I insight check that?
you certainly can.
Oh, boy.
So all you gotta do is click insight.
Yeah. Nope. That's a
I mean,
4.
It's hard to tell. He very well could. He maybe he's kidding. It's really hard to tell.
Who knows?
He's just mostly you just get distracted by the mushrooms behind his ears, and you sort of just catches your attention. You're like, is he? Those are weird mushrooms. So, so I'll say you guys continue traveling, having some light conversations, getting to know the people around you a little bit. You can tell that the kid is completely enamored with this mechanical horse walking ahead of him. And I don't know about the rest of you, whether or not you're interested or not, but this is quite the sight to see. It's not very often you see anything like this, but it is traveling just feet ahead of people leading the pack, which I believe the furthest forward would be Septimera. And it's not but a few hours into the journey from where you had lunch when you start to see them slowing down. You hear "Ho!" coming from the front. "Ho! Ho! Ho!" And then you see another one of the different hired hands running back to you, Mitnir. They run back to you, and you recognize this one whenever you were hired for the job. This is dwarvish warrior of sorts, very large, buff, muscular fella. He runs up to you, he's like, "We hit our first snag, friend, so we're gonna have to take it easy, sadly. Keep yours together here, but it could be a while before we get to move."
What's
Just like
the
taps his head, just like, yep. got it.
what happened?
Oh well, you know, it's probably one of those damn sculptors again. You know, the reason why we keep this here pack in the back, and you see as he's still walking through, is so that we can repair it as we see that the pass has been damaged. They really want us to make sure we see their new sculptures, so they break the pass.
That's rude.
I know, it's really pathetic, honestly. Your art should speak for itself. Alright, I'll be on my way. Just make sure that nobody goes missing, friend. He looks at you with like a bit of seriousness.
Immediately, Mitnir's gonna kind of like just push everyone kind of together, like, huddle up, easier to keep an eye on you.
Alright, so you see him run to the back, and he comes passing back through with the Goliath and the half orc, and they're just carrying a bunch of like tools and raw wood, and they're just running back towards the front of the caravan. You guys are kind of just sitting there, honestly.
Well, I wonder how long this is going to take.
Oren's gonna make sure he stands right behind Brassi and put a hand on her shoulder and then offer her like a piece of bread or something with the other hand, since we're waiting.
Okay. So while you guys are just sitting there, what's your guys' passive perception?
15?
14.
15 or
13.
14? What is it?
Wait,
12.
I think it's 15.
11.
How do you have 15?
Wait, where is it on here?
All right. Well, anybody with a 14 or higher, you notice that your good friend Cleary, who so far everybody seems to be quite annoyed with,
Oh, yeah, the blue guy.
starts to slink off, and he looks very excited. He's just like,
Hey, you probably shouldn't go too far.
as you
What?
start to say something, he's just like, and he like puts his hand over your mouth and he says,
Hey, no.
This is why I came. I want to see sculptures made mysteriously on the pass.
But we're in a group, and the group is supposed to stay together.
Oh, I won't go any farther than the caravan itself. I was just sure they wouldn't mind a little bit of meandering.
You should ask first.
But they just said that the place is broken. And you don't seem very smart. You'll probably fall.
With her making noise, would I actually have noticed that with the lower perception?
Make a perception check.
Haha!
Ah, yes.
Oh yeah, you definitely hear her talking to this guy. This exclamation of
Gonna walk over to him, kind of not aggressively, but rather roughly, just kind of like by the collar and just like pull back towards the group and just kind of like sit him down.
and he's just
Cleary.
You see, they said that the pass was stopped. I have heard many rumors about this happening. It means that there's a new sculpture on the pass.
And now with him sitting down, I'm just gonna make a really angry face and just like snort into his face, just like.
Ew.
I'm not going to go any further than anything else. It's just we can't go anywhere. It's not like I'm going to jump off the edge and
Cleary.
backtrack away.
Cleary, we're going to see everything there is to see along the path.
But if we're sitting here waiting for them to make repairs, is it not important that I have this extra time to view? I demand that this be brought up before the leader of the caravan, Mr. Alstingrin. I demand to see the statue now.
How far forward are the leaders of the caravan?
Probably about 200 feet or so.
Okay.
It's really not that far away. But currently he's sitting there. He's looking obstinately at you, Mood.
Just kind of like arms crossed, just like.
Go on, man. Go speak to the leader of the caravan, and I demand permission to go view the statues.
No.
Then you will. I am paying your salary, sir, so you will let me through, and I will go view these sculptures, and you can.
Cleary, this caravan isn't to enable you to view sculptures. You are with
That's
us,
the
not the
entire
other way
reason.
around.
That is the entire reason I took this caravan, was so I could view these sculptures.
Well, maybe you took the wrong caravan.
Part of my thesis.
I mean, aren't we walking that way anyway?
Yes, but if they were sitting here for an hour or more while they repair this damn pass, I want to take a view.
I suppose you just don't have strong enough perceptive abilities to be able to look at it all at once when you pass it. You must have a very small mind.
Well, if I could just get... the pass is narrow, and it obviously... And you guys look ahead of you, there's a bend right ahead of you, and you can tell that it's probably just on the other side of this bend, like 50 feet ahead of you. And he's just like...
Okay, but I'm
Dude
going
starts,
with
like,
you.
Tapping his foot just like the annoyed parent, like.
Could can't fly with my cloak. Yeah, could I?
You can as long as if you're covered in your cloak, you can't fly. Like you can't fly in a covered cloak. If you pull your cloak back and put it between your wings,
Okay, so I
there's
don't
no
have
reason you can't fly. It's just you're now no longer hiding what you are. You know what I'm saying? That's what I
Yeah.
mean by you can't fly with a cloak on.
Okay. For my own not knowledge, would I be able to carry another person flying?
It depends on their weight and your strength.
My strength is very low.
Then, in your experience, no, you have never been able to carry a person that wasn't smaller than you.
Okay, Grim.
Okay.
I will ride the tiny pink bird.
He's like 7 feet tall. Just mounts the bird. Let's go.
Flight of the Valkyrie starts playing.
No.
Hunter and Wolf has redeemed Get Roasted.
Oh, that okay. Hunter and Wolf, more like Hunter and Barf. Yuck, you're roasted. Thanks, I guess, for letting us roast you.
You know, if you do the roast one during not a D&D stream, we'll do you more roast.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing D&D, yo.
She's here all night, everybody.
Thank you.
Roast in character.
Oh no.
Does anyone else want to wander off?
I mean,
No.
if he's going to be this obstinate,
Pushes
about it,
his
that
hand
might
down.
be-
It's the kid.
No, the kid, you stay. You stay with your mama. You be a good little kid. Look, if he's going to wander off, I will go with him and make sure he doesn't cause any trouble. But, you know.
It's okay, little man. You stay with Grim.
Everyone just.
Maybe you do come with me.
I really don't want to stay with this smelly man.
I'm gonna, like, pick a mushroom off my ear and eat it.
I was
He runs back
wondering-
and he hides behind Orin because that's the closest strange figure he can hide behind. So he's sitting there hiding, like he's like looking at Bropsy, who's about the same height as him, and he's just like, he's very
Hey-
put off by the grossness.
Hey,
Orin
kid-
will slip him a little piece of bread too.
do you know how to draw, kid? And I'm trying to get the little one's attention.
You're
Did
muted.
you mute Gagnor?
I know how to draw a bit. I can't draw my name.
Okay, did you want to draw to pass the time?
Make a persuasion check.
Oh boy. Okay. Let's see. $16?
Yeah, I'll draw. You have drawn things for me, right? To draw.
Yes. So I take off my backpack and pull out a parchment and an ink pen with some ink and just kind of hand it to him.
Well, he picks it up and holds the pen like this. And the paper like this. And he puts it on the ground and he kicks his feet back perilously close to the edge. And just starts.
Well, at least he's occupied.
It's horrible. It's. Whenever you look at a kid's art and you're like, God, that kid sucks. This kid's worse than those kids. Like, his concept of what shapes are and how they move together to create a recognizable image, not there. So, but you know, he's ruining paper.
Jackson Pollock.
Bropsy will sit next to him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a train wreck on paper.
It looks really good.
The tree that died to make this paper.
Rolling in its grave.
I like it.
All the other sheets of paper just start to curl at the edges.
Just a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
I
Well, he
like
looks at you and goes,
direction.
"I'm very good at this.
You are. You are good at this.
I'm the best drawer on the caravan." Okay, so you said that you would head out with him.
If he's going to insist on going.
I really like to look. If that's all right, Mister Blue. What's your name?
Mitnir.
Mitnir. I have committed it to memory, Mitnir. If it is quite all right with you, I promise you, I'll be in no trouble at all. I will use the guardrails to ensure my safety. You will not be. In fact, not only that, but I will give you a tip of 1 gold piece if you would let me, please, go explore what it is I have decided to explore since the beginning of this caravan.
Just looks to her and just like, are you sure?
I'll look after him. If I have to.
Just kind of not defeated, but just like looks at the sun. Short. Back soon.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And so he starts trudging off, and as he does, he starts walking around the corner and passes by the man on the mechanical horse.
Mhm.
And as he does so, he just looks at him. He's like, "Good day." And you see the entity on the horse with this giant, like massive collars standing up, turns and looks at you, and all you see is just crinkly, suntan skin, just like ragged and wrinkled, and just big, thick, bushy eyebrows and crazy wild gray hair. Just looks at you, no facial expression whatsoever. Can't even like see his eyes because all you see is big, bushy eyebrows.
You have a lovely horse. And I will follow behind.
It nods down towards you and says, "Thank you."
You're welcome. Good day.
One of those people. Oh boy.
Wait, did the old man say that, or did the horse say
Old man said that. Thank you. And as you pass by, just really awkwardly, like, "Oh yes, very much." And you begin heading through. It's mostly just the big metal cart. No, actually, that was behind you. Sorry. It's just mostly just the one large cart ahead of you. That you can see, like, just the bulk of these loggers, if you've come to know them, seem to be standing around in a bit of a clustered circle, sort of half circle around this image. You can see they're working on the pass up ahead. It looks like the stone ground around it has basically just been shorn off completely, where it went from like what might have been 10, maybe even 15 foot of just solid ground has been chipped away, like almost in a square away from the wall. Looking past them, if you would like to make a perception check, you can either, if you want to check out the pass itself, or if you want to try to see what everybody's looking at.
21.
I don't know which one you're looking at.
Oh, what is everybody looking at?
Looking past them, what you see is actually very interesting. It looks like a sculpture hewn into the wall of the pass itself. You saw specifically in the picture that I've got for you guys on Roll20, where it's just jutting rocks on all sides, and then there seems to be a larger wall of rock for the mountain ahead of it. They seem to have carved into this and created this strange sculpture that looks like 4 different little sprites dancing around with one another.
Okay,
Each one of them seems to be pulling the stone around it, and the stone is forming different shapes. Some of it more granular, some of it more smooth and moving. The flow of the piece creates the sort of circular effect as they twist around one another. Your eye seems to follow it and then go back down, almost just like this strange little infinity loop. As the image, very well crafted, very artistic.
Clary, you see it?
Clary has already pushed his way through the crowd and says, Get back!
I'm following him as closely as I
He
can.
sits there, and you see he sits down, and he begins sketching it immediately. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous statue.
Cleary, does it mean anything? What is it? I mean, it's very pretty.
Actually, you rolled a 21.
Mm-hmm.
I'll carry that over. As you begin to move closer towards it, you see the statue and everything, the movement of it, and the way that it flows together. Something seems very off about it.
Of how? Just a feeling?
Specifically, it seems unnaturally placed into the wall. Like it wasn't actually directly carved into that piece of wall. So much as placed there.
Does it feel like magic?
Hard to tell.
Cleary, do you notice anything weird about this?
Oh, it's a very, very beautiful piece. It's very hard to say for sure. I'm going to have to look at it quite a bit more, and by the time I'm done, I will have something very, I have some very good notes and a very good sketch, and I will bring this forward in my thesis. It's quite interesting, very intriguing.
How does it compare to the make of the other ones you've studied?
Well, I haven't seen them yet.
Oh.
But there are notes of ones that exist on the past. There, I believe, is a sculpture of the Platinum Dragon. There is a sculpture of the Storm Lord. This is the first I've seen of something so meager and interesting. These sprites, I believe, nothing particularly godlike about these. They're definitely a very much smaller scale, and he just keeps talking.
I'm going to turn and point a finger in the direction that I came from and send a message to Mitner. So, Seti says, hey, does anyone in the caravan know about these statues? Because this one looks weird, and I can't put my finger on it.
You can make an investigation check if you want to. This is just from your perception check.
Would just be
12.
for her.
Yeah, but yeah, you get that message.
Would I know whether or not
You have
anyone
been
had any
informed
more
that there are
information?
statues along the way, and that there are many tourists that like to see them, but most of them are crazy. That's all you really know about it. This is your first time on the pass.
I
Greed
will
is
ask.
not your first time on the pass. You
Yeah.
know that there are several sculptures along the pass. Some of them have caught your eye, but I believe this is only your second trip, or is it your third? Deep Sea Lee. Greed.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. It would probably be the second, maybe.
Okay, yeah. So you've seen these statues before, and they're gorgeous, and they're also very strange, but they really weren't anything important to you. You kind of were just getting from A to B. So, other than that, you got the message.
Yeah, just thinks for a moment. Oh, first, it's like looks around, going, "Huh? Oh, right." Kind of thinks. Do any of you know more?
You
about
can hear
this
everything
place?
he's saying right now because he's responding during the
Oh,
phase of the
okay, yeah, sure.
I don't know how it works. I'm just.
No, exactly. She didn't
Yes,
say you
yeah.
could respond, so everything you're saying for like the next 10 words is going back to her.
I think it's 25.
So
we
that
can't
was the
hear
all
it
of
with
you.
message, right?
No, message can be replied to.
No, but
No,
I mean
that's-
us that are standing next to
Yeah.
him. The
No,
response
you
is
didn't
silent.
you didn't hear what he said to her, but you can respond like telepathically, or if you speak out loud, I think it's the same.
So basically, he can reply that in a way that only I can hear.
But I think
if
it's
he wants
funnier
to.
since he doesn't know how it works. He's just replying out loud, and it's going back to you.
Totally fine, whatever.
Yeah.
So we just hear him flapping his mouth. Or
No, I
singing.
mean I
No.
asked if you guys knew anything about this place.
You're both hearing it.
Okay. Would I know anything specific about the statues, or is it just kind of a generalized they're here?
You've seen the Platinum Dragon statue. You know it's very big, very interesting. And there's also one statue in the very center that is the largest, most immaculate statue, but you don't really remember what it was about because it wasn't really any particular god or anything. You know about like the halfway point of the pass, there's a very large statue.
Okay.
That's it.
I know that there are a couple statues down the pass of some different gods, and a really large one that I don't remember super well. They weren't of necessary interest to me.
Anyone else? Just kind of like.
You get another message, and it says, sorry, you can reply to this in a way that only I can hear to give me an answer if you want. But yeah, this one is really weird, and it's giving me the heebie-jeebies, and I don't think it was put here the same as the others. We can't hear you, Gagnor.
You hear, I don't think it was, and then it's
Cuts off. Yeah, I lost track counting.
Strange. Just like, I think this new one's different, maybe? I don't know. I was being asked about them, but I don't know anything about this place.
Actually, I think it's sending that's 25 words, and message is just like a free for all. I think.
Oh, is it?
It actually
So
doesn't.
You weren't using sending. You were
Yeah,
using
it's message.
Yeah.
I get them confused all the time.
Yeah, as message is just like 120 feet. As long as you're within 120 feet, you can just send message all day long.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You can reply to this message. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sending doesn't have a range limit. But
Right.
It has a word limit.
Right.
What has the word limit?
Yeah.
So it's-
Sending, yeah.
I forgot that. Yeah, that's what you're doing. Yeah, message
Yep.
I think is a cantrip, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I heard the whole message then.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
Okay.
you did.
In that case, he's gonna starts to reply, and she hears, no one back here really knows anything about this place, including myself. But everyone around me just hears like, because he's talking just with his lips shut.
I will remind you, it's like a 50-foot walk. You guys, anybody can just go look at it. It's like not a big deal.
Do you mind if I just go see what she's talking about? I'm talking to Mitnir.
Waves his hand.
You're not taking my book, right?
No, you can keep drawing. And I go tra-la-la up the trail.
I'll draw a pretty big bird.
Aw.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it doesn't look anything like you.
Ah.
And it's all
See
in
that
black.
blob? That blob's you.
Yeah, so as you make your way across the path, you see the same thing that she saw. It's pretty obvious as you make your way through. The rest of the loggers kind of getting bored. Most of them have actually taken up and started to help with the fixing of the pass, as they are skilled carpenters, a lot of them. And they make a little enough way for you that it's easy enough to see. If you want to get a feel for what she was talking about, you can make an investigation check.
Okay, sure. Let's see. Oh, my proficiencies aren't on roll 20.
Oh, your skill proficiencies? I probably forgot
Yeah.
those. My bad.
Yeah, just check off
Okay.
the ones you have. That's as easy as pushing the little button next to him that says proficient.
Oops.
15?
15. Looking at the statue, you kind of know what she's talking about. It's nothing too strange. It just something catches your eye, and then you look, and you can tell definitely there's a seam around the back of the statue. The statue definitely moves.
It's
Okay,
weird,
I'm gonna grab, wasn't it Cleary?
Yeah, clear.
And just kind of,
He's yes. Sorry.
did you,
Hi.
hi, did
I
you
was
notice
running
this in the back?
Oh, yes. I assumed it was just some sort of part of the sculpture. Perhaps they were outlining it to create a sort of haloed effect. But I was getting there. First is the sketch, and you see, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's a pretty good sketch. It's not great, but it's a pretty good sketch. The details are all there. The proportions are well measured. I would not say it's a particularly great drawing. Not nearly as artful as the sculpture itself.
Okay.
So it's not
and,
just me imagining things. This looks weird, right? I'm no sculpture
Yeah.
expert, but
Yeah. So now that she says that it looks weird, you're like, yeah. So it's definitely that the sculpture itself seems to be hewn out of the rock itself, but it seems to be moved forward slightly, and you can see that there's like a small gap, a sort of seam behind it. And as you get closer and you approach it from the side, you can actually feel the air whistling through. Like you could move the statue and make your way behind it. With not a whole lot of
Secret
effort.
tunnel.
We were all thinking it.
Secret tunnel. Sorry, I had to finish the whole thing.
You're good. I think there's something back here. Can I try to like squirm my way through? I don't know how to.
Make a
not
strength
strong.
check because
Oh,
it's
God.
you're gonna have to be able to move it just a few inches to make your way through if you're trying to do it by force.
I can help.
Sure, please.
I
You
also
might
try
be
to.
stronger than I am.
I hope not. But I'll try to like help pull.
Okay, so strength 8,
Oh no.
double 8s.
Wow, we both
no, it's,
suck at
It's
these.
not budging.
Hey, Cleary, get over here.
I'm sorry. What have you here? What have you here? He sees you pushing from like a weird angle. He's like, oh, how intriguing. Oh, this must be. I've heard rumors about strange goings
Well,
on.
help us.
Oh, I'm not much of a strong type. Oh, you over there, you with the muscles. And he calls out towards one of the loggers in the front of the group. One turns around. Oh shit! Give me my page, damn it! I have so many fucking screens.
I sent another message to
And he
Mitner.
just gives him the finger, like.
One of the
Okay.
both of them, yeah, sort of basically just give the fingers. Like you can tell, like the leader of the loggers, Claviden. He's looked like an asshole and he acts like an asshole. You just get this feel from him, like I don't want to talk to this guy
He's an
But-
asshole.
because he's an asshole. And you see that there's one still standing, looking at the sculpture with kind of a bit of glee in his eye. It's a very, very, very ripped looking gnome. He's probably about half a foot shorter than Bropsy. But his muscles are fucking bulging out of his, like, the fact that somebody made a shirt for this person had to be custom.
Are we looking at a wider than tall type person at this point?
No, it's not that he's even that hefty. He's just his biceps are about the same size as his head. Which itself is large for his body.
He's just like a tiny John Cena.
And you can see he's like, and he looks at, he's like, oh, are you talking to me? He's like, oh, yes, please. We would very much enjoy your aid in moving the sculpture.
Come
Oh.
help, we have noodle arms.
Sculpture move, does he? Oh, fair enough. I'm very interested to see what's behind this. That's not enough. He starts straining to push it. He's like,
Okay, hang on. I'm going to...
I'm a pretty buff fella, but maybe we could try something more like some torque or something like that.
Okay, hold that thought. First, I send a message to Mitner and say, we're going to open the statue. Just so you know. There's something behind it.
So you guys see
Out loud. How do you open a statue?
And then to our new tiny John Cena friend, I am going to just do a little beat on my drum, and again some more of that chanting in this weird kind of lilting language, and give him bardic inspiration.
And
Okay.
Can I try to, like, I guess jam my quarterstaff kind of a little bit behind the statue to try to or actually I have a crowbar. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use the crowbar.
All right. So you're attempting to aid him.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just give him
And-
advantage on the roll.
And he gets a 1d6.
That's double 18s plus. So.
Okay.
So he's like, oh, it's like, oh, that's much better. We'd already done that from the start. We could have saved a lot of time. And so you see as he grabs the crowbar with you and starts hauling it, and you see as the statue starts to move forward, it opens up, and the air begins moving through, and you catch just this musky scent from inside.
Reminds me of our...
Smells like the fur bulk.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Peering in, the little bit of light that goes through, you find yourself peering into the entrance of a tunnel. Some sort of cavern ahead of you.
It's not my home. I don't live in a mill.
Cleary looks at all of you and he's just like, well, that is quite interesting. I, for one, demand that we enter this tunnel.
Cleary,
And we
stop with
find
your
out-
demands, okay? You're not the only one here, and
But
people.
this is a discovery of a lifetime.
Sure,
Stand in front of the tunnel
But-
and point back towards the rest of our group.
we need to
And
think
go.
about your safety.
We go talk to the Dragonborn first.
Very well, if that's what you insist. And then the gnome just is like, I'd be more than happy to go in there with you as well if you want. It looks very interesting in there.
Don't enable
Yeah,
the blue one.
No, yeah. By all means, no. I'm sure I have work to do here as well. And you look ahead and you see that they're in the middle of. You see that there's a woman with like long platinum blonde hair, and from this side all you can see is just like a fur like cloak around her, and you can see as she's shaping the rock out from the
hey.
wall and forcing it out. So there's some spell work going on and some construction happening as well. But most of them really aren't paying attention to anything you guys are doing, like typical leadership in a caravan. So
I'll look at Mitnir and be like, you say they're opening a statue? What is that? What is opening a statue?
I assume smash.
Blue guy is not going to be happy.
all right.
Just kind of
While-
shrugs.
While you guys are talking, I assume the rest of them come back around the corner.
Yeah, I'm like herding Cleary ahead of us, make
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, Cleary does not want to go. He wants to stay with the statue, but you can see as he gets pushed along, and he's like, but it's discovery.
Shh, shh, shh. It's okay. It will still be there. It's not going anywhere. Hello, group of people we have been assigned to travel with.
Oh, hello, Seti. Nice to see you again.
Yes, likewise. I don't know all of your names, and maybe we should learn them at some point. But we have discovered a thing behind the statue. There's like a tunnel, and it goes somewhere, and we're all very curious about it. But we
I want to go and see what's inside.
No, you have to stay with your parents.
I don't want to draw anymore. I want to go behind the statue.
So now that they're back, though, Mitnir snaps and puts his hand out towards Cleary.
Oh, right. Very much. The gold, of course. And he puts one gold piece in your hand.
And then I hand it to her. Because she did the work.
Okay, thank you.
So we're going in this whole.
Well, okay, look, I wanted to propose that maybe, some of us could go check it out if we wanted to, but, very much keeping in mind of how long we're gone and not being gone too long that we miss the caravan or anything like that.
Given this caravan. This is kind of boring out here, so we'll go inside.
Yeah, but we might be sitting a while.
It would probably stop the Furbolg from pushing anyone off the ledge.
Activity is good.
Appreciate that. Cleary says.
All of us, or
Anybody who wanted to.
I think we would stay outside if that's alright.
I think.
Probably.
Not
good
very
idea.
good. Not very good at combat. Also,
Yeah.
I'm here with my wife and child. So.
No, yeah, definitely. I wanted to.
If it's alright with you, I think we'll stay.
More like the people that look like they might know some magic or be able to fight really well or be
That's with-
mysterious,
that's-
silent, scary, spooky strangers. And I kind of look back at Orin. Because
Orin
you.
will nudge Brasi and be like, "Do you want to enter the cave?"
I'm not afraid of the cave, but do we have to be around the people?
Well, there'll be less people in the cave.
Fair point. Let's go.
All right. I'll nod at Setimira in like a yes.
Excellent.
Okay, well, as Bropsy starts to get up, the little one goes, "Oh, okay," and starts getting up as well.
No. You stay. You do your art, and this way I get to come back and be surprised.
Make a persuasion check.
Heck, I'm not very persuasive.
Eight. No, that's the original. 10. 10, okay. He looks at you, and he's just like, but if I go into the hall, I can get my own surprise. For me.
There aren't any good surprises.
Calling.
Wait, what?
I just look at him and be like, I'm going to be in the tunnel. So.
Yikes.
No one wants to be.
Okay, make an intimidation check.
I wasn't even meaning that as an intimidation.
That's
Basic
intimidation,
logic.
dude.
Have you ate a mushroom off your own ear? That you traumatized that
Are
kid.
you,
With
are you,
advantage.
hold up.
With-
Okay, I'm
with
sorry. My
advantage.
dad called. Are you scaring this child?
Not intentionally, but yeah.
No, I'm just telling him I'm going to be in the tunnel, so you might want to think about whether or not you want to be in the tunnel. I think it's a fair point.
Yeah, make intimidation with advantage. No, it's intimidation with advantage, so it's the 11.
11.
Yeah, I think considering that's enough. It's just like.
See, you stay here and you do art, and I will take care of them. It'll be okay. I'll come back with a story, and you show me your art. We're
I'll
good.
do the art for you.
Yeah,
If you leave him in the cave, that would probably be
I
best for
we'll,
the caravan.
we'll see about that.
Okay.
With this in mind, I'm gonna go find one of the other guards though to trade off duty.
Yeah, okay.
Dude, sorry.
I mean, it's easy enough to find one of the other ones. The cleric guy will be more than happy to.
Just like that, they want to go in a hole.
All right, so you go to Jarrus. He's the one behind you at the metal cart. He's like, yeah, I'll keep an eye on the rest of these here. No problem. You be safe in the hole.
Something about a statue. He just kind of walks away, going like, "They opened a statue." What?
Hey man, it all happens on the caravan. That's
Kind of looks over his shoulder like, "Good time. This is a one-time trip."
As you guys find your way heading towards this statue, now we all seeing it for the first time, and it being peered open, you can see standing in front of it this very buff gnome just staring out his way in. We'll go ahead and take our break, and we'll come back in about 5 minutes. We're back. Hey guys.
Hello.
Welcome back. Jumping right back into it. As you guys turn the corner, the 50 feet ahead towards the statue, you see the gnome standing in front of the newly formed entranceway with his arms crossed. And you also see that the mechanical horsed man, like that's the kind of thing that an adjective, the mechanical horsed man has also meandered closer to the statue area and is staring in with much intrigue.
Hello. Do you know anything about this?
Oh no, it looks like a hole in the wall. Again,
Yep.
no change on expression in his face whatsoever.
Are you going too?
Oh, no, I don't think that's necessary. I will if you need me, of course, for a prize.
No, thank you.
No, I don't trust your.
Very well, but if you find anything interesting in there, I'd be more than happy to do some bartering. Otherwise, be safe. Again, no change in facial expression.
Okay. He's weird too. There's a lot of weird people on this caravan.
Yeah,
Just
that's
kind of
what
looks at
terrified.
President Company, looks back at her, just like,
I mean...
All right, so marching order we discussed during the break. So I will go ahead and drag you all over to this thing. Hopefully Fog of War has worked properly. Boo boo boo.
Yep.
I am immediately scared.
I'm so scared.
Quick question: is there a way to hide all of our pictures down at the bottom of Rule 20?
Yes.
Well, you can move it.
You just go to the settings, and then you scroll down to player video / avatar size, and you put
There we go.
names only.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. So
I want to see my cute little feet.
Now,
You worked so hard on that.
go away, Faye.
yeah, I have everybody's down because they can't see the thing with everybody's face up. So looking into this cavern, you find yourself at the entrance, as you see there. The walls themselves seem a little moist, more moist than you would have expected. Otherwise, it's pitch black in here. There's no light source whatsoever. Those of you with night vision can see for about 60 feet, but I'm not sure who that is, so let me know and I'll reveal if I need to. But
Me.
currently, you can pretty much just see about that.
Greed has dark vision.
I'm gonna take a deep breath in and just kind of smell everything.
All right, so you can see pretty much just down this hallway to ahead of you, there's about a 20-foot rise.
As we step into this tunnel, Oren's going to touch Brapsi's staff and cast light on it, and then he will also cast light on his staff.
Well,
Nice.
I rolled a 24 to smell everything.
So now you got 2 giant glow
24
sticks.
for smell.
Yeah.
You smell way more than any creature should. The perception skills of a fucking furball. You smell, first of all, dust. A sort of danky, murky muddiness mixed with like the slush and slurry of northern ice. What we call, I'm sure you're fully aware of, is ice lasagna. You can smell like just that sort of mixture of dirt and snow inside this cave, which is many temperature degrees lower inside of this cavern than it is outside.
Any smells of decomposition
Or
or things like
not
that?
so much decomposition, no.
Okay. Just smelling for nature, life, death.
You being someone who is familiar with the smell of death, do not currently have that scent on your nostrils.
Okay.
So just a FYI, 20 feet around Ornan and Brapsi is bright light, and then another 20 feet after that is dim light. Coming
Okay,
off
so you
our
guys can-
stabs.
Dim 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 dim. Dim sum.
So you guys can see pretty much again to where I lit to, because again that's like a wall. Almost it's almost like a small cliff face ahead of you. It's about a 20-foot rise. But you can definitely see that the cavern itself is opened wider than that. So that's what you can see.
As we kind of look around, I just kind of seeing the placement on the map, lean down a bit and say to the little Aarakocra, thanks for coming. I'm Seti.
Hi. She gets closer to Oren.
No name.
Riveting
She didn't ask.
conversation. Oren will sort of speak up a little and be like, "Does anyone else care to have a light source?"
Oh no, the light source that you provided is quite astonishing. Wow, very useful skill. And he's like immediately starts heading forward, like
Just hand on shoulder, like
Yeah, maybe.
Like-
wait, why can't I? Oh, that's because I'm using that. Duh. Doot. So he just goes straight up to the thing. Doesn't fucking waste any time.
I guess I will follow right behind him.
Yeah, I
So you see,
Same.
So like, yeah.
he says, "Oh, bring that light closer. Bring it closer." And you see as he's poking around at it, you can see there are markings all over the wall in front of you, rising up what is there above.
Rising up.
Are they
So.
like a language?
They appear to be a language of some kind.
Can we tell what language it is?
Does anybody here speak Undercommon?
I speak Undercommon.
Oh, you do?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, then you can read it pretty plainly. It just says,
I get close enough. What's it say? I want to see.
it just says, beware all ye who enter here.
Says that. You guys see that?
Okay, I don't like this.
It says. My baby's talking. Can y'all hear him? Or...
Little
Move
bit.
your burb in front of me.
Well, I'll tell them what it says. That's foreboding.
That is maybe not good news.
So there's nowhere else to go. There's just that wall.
Or that could be fantastic news.
Gagnor, you meet it.
There's a 20-foot rise, and you can see there's a lip above it. Looking closer, you can see that there are footholes that have been carved in here, very intentionally for if you wanted to attempt to climb it.
Mitnir's climbing.
Okay.
Jesus.
I won't even make you make a climbing check. Again, it's there intentionally for climbing. So as you make your way into this first section, Mitnir, you hit the top.
I will climb as well.
Me too.
Alright.
I'll let you move so the position's correct there. And I also have dark vision, if that matters.
Stop, ruler. Stop it. I don't want the ruler. I want the revealer.
The joys of roll 20.
So just go ahead and move yourself up, guys.
Okay.
In whatever order you want. From there, you should be able to see this area as well. Looking ahead of you, you see that the ground is a sort of slate and shale material. The ground is sort of murky, sort of muddy, a bit sleek, probably with a bit of moss that is sort of creating this sort of nasty grime on the top of the shale-like rock.
Grim will reach down and kind of touch the ground and just sort of like taste it. Make
I mean,
like
yeah.
You're my wife's
It's some kind of lichen.
I'm gonna make a nature check.
I was just gonna let you have it.
Okay, well, anyway, it's some
It's-
sort of
it's-
lichen.
It's some sort of lichen. Something that would very
Lichen.
commonly grow in a dark, damp cave.
It's him licking his fingers. I'm not. God, you're nasty.
All right. Well, looking ahead of you in this cavern. By the way, I want to know: are you guys moving stealthily, or are you just moving? And if you want to look at anything particular, guys, treat this as a dungeon.
I mean,
I'd be moving.
Can we even move stealthily with the big blue guy in here?
Oh, which one?
Which big blue guy? There's two of us.
Isn't Cleary or whatever in here?
Yeah,
It is
he's
in
blue,
here.
but I'm blue too.
Here, I'll try and sneak. Ready? Oh yeah.
I was like, I'm moving cautiously, but I'm not sneaking.
Okay, so you guys aren't really sneaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as he's walking with you guys, he's like, "Look at this on the walls," and you can see like the walls are actually carved with similar sculptures moving along the same as the sculpture outside, even more intricate, although not as three-dimensional. Sort of like those sort of like Chinese bone sculptures that you see where they do like those like great tableaus out of like ivory and stuff like that. It's just got like this like sort of like beautiful sort of like popped out semi three-dimensional sculpture in the walls. Just like this beautiful tableau of these strange pixie creatures flying around and melding with the earth and becoming one with it and shifting and changing forms and all kinds of stuff.
And just kind of squint at him, just like, I wish I knew what they were telling us.
I don't get it.
It's gorgeous. He sits down and starts sketching. So
Can I move around towards probably here just to keep a lookout forward to make sure?
sure. You got night vision, so you get how much? Like 60 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Our dark vision is 60 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, so you should be able to see about there. Whoa, dude, let me reveal areas. Jesus Christ, I hate roll 20. So you can see about that, right? No, fuck it. No, you can now see all the way to the wall,
I'm going to go over there.
if that's the direction you're looking at. I'll go ahead and say, for those of you with dark vision, you can see pretty much all of this.
Is that the three of us in the front right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I don't
is
think
this right here like a sheer drop?
it's a sheer drop. It's like you're on a different level plane than what's around you.
Can we see how far down it is?
It's about 10 feet.
Oh, okay. Not too bad.
Not too bad. Not nearly as bad as the entrance was.
Okay, while Cleary sits and draws, I'm going to try to quietly move forward and see around that bend to our left.
Make me a stealth check.
24.
Jesus.
24. Yeah. Go ahead and move your character.
About here.
I mean, yeah. So you come in. All you can really see is just a couple piles of mud and grime. Nothing really seems to stand out to you. Make a perception check if you want to see anything else in particular.
15.
Yeah. Big piles of mud. You see like 3 distinct piles of just nasty, murky, grimy crud lining the walls.
There are 3 big mud piles over here, I say.
There's mud everywhere.
Yes, but these are 3 distinct piles of mud.
As in graves or something else entirely?
Are they like on the floor, like elongated or anything, or just like
They're just
mounds?
piles of mud, like very distinct mounds.
No, they're just mounds.
If you want to get closer and get a better look, you can.
Dig in the mud.
To the ones with like, are you two going to stay here so he can keep whatever it is he's doing?
I was just going to let her scout ahead, but we
One of you-
probably shouldn't let her run off.
One of you people that are shiny, why don't you come with me and dig in the mud?
Yeah, I don't want to do anything risky, but if other people were to come and offer some backup, then
We're already in a hole in the ground that said "Do not enter."
yeah.
Grim will dig in the mud.
All right, so Grim's gonna approach the mud and start digging around.
If somebody with light comes, I need to dig in the mud.
Can I rotate? I want to basically follow that edge of the drop off to get closer to them. So I just moved up closer.
Yeah, all right. So you just move up closer. The people who have the light, I presume, are just Bropsy and Aaron. So the light's pretty far back.
Back
Yep.
towards him. Come, light people. I need to see.
Aziz, light.
It's stinky.
What are you holding as like a weapon or whatever, Grim?
He's got a stick.
I got a club.
Stick.
Fancy club.
It's a dirty ass stick.
I could just make it glow.
Make my stick glow.
Oh god, where'd my guy go? There he is.
Hold it out. Here, touch my stick.
Orin will touch his stick and cast light on it.
All right, touch his stick and cast light on it, casting light throughout this entire little section of the cavern. Maybe a perception check, SETI,
Oh yes.
since you're
Standing
Not
there.
distracted
Oh,
by
it was a natural
Natural.
one. I definitely got distracted by the stick touching.
yeah. There's a big bright stick just lighting up the whole area. It's pretty freaking bright.
It's very bright. I could already see, so
Yeah, just.
I'm like
My
blinking.
stick distracts people. It's okay.
Okay. So Bropsy's in the back, I guess, holding a light for the sketching Cleary. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna go dig in the
Digging.
mud.
All right. So move your character.
Mud.
All right. So as you begin to reach down and reach into the mud and check it out and dig around for things, a hand reaches out and grabs you by the throat. And you
Of
see
course.
a face with gnarling teeth come out of the mud and go and scream in your face as these massive wings pop out of it. The mud itself taking form. I need everybody to roll initiative.
Fuck.
Oh shit.
Is that you?
Let Sleeping Mud Lot know it.
Ah, yes, the flying mud creatures. Ah, yeah.
19.
Oh, that's why.
18.
Initiative. Oh,
I got
whatever.
14.
Token lair. Move on to the token lair.
Five.
Move on to the
What?
token lair.
How? What?
Oh,
Sorry,
do I
what?
know? Are you selecting this, or do we have to like select the token and do that?
What? No, just I was moving my characters to the token lair.
Okay. Well, my thing
My
said
mom
if you wanted to send the result of this roll to the turn tracker, but no valid token was selected.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a.
Okay.
Just making sure.
I do need to take everybody's initiative. Oh gosh, where's my pencil? No, babe, pencils.
I think they're all in the kitchen.
No, I got one over here.
Oh, okay.
How
never
is
mind.
he supposed to track initiative with no pencils?
Nope.
It's a new memory game.
I'm
You
just
just
gonna
gotta
keep
like.
going,
Yeah.
guys. I'm just gonna keep going, just like this, just
Don't worry.
like this. Okay.
I'll memorize the initiative,
Okay.
and that I mean that they're on the screen. I got this.
Okay. So, let's do initiative 25 to 20.
19.
Okay. So SETI is a 19. 20 to 15.
I got
Okay. You
Nikki.
got what?
18.
Oh, okay.
I got 15.
Okay. 14 to 10.
14.
All right. 10 to 5.
6.
I'm 5.
Okay, so that I love that so much. And sadly, I rolled the lowest.
Ow.
I rolled a 3.
Oh god.
So SETI, you go first as you see these 3 winged creatures actually form out of the mud and become very small, but deceptively large wings for their size. Little strange, devilish-looking creatures hovering just a few inches off the ground. One of which is grasping onto the throat, very feebly with its tiny little paws, of Grim.
Yeah, so quick question. I think we had this discussion already, but I totally forgot. Thunderclap also targets friendlies, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so I won't do that.
Oh
It'll be
god.
fine. Just do it. Go for it.
All right, so that's the one grabbing him. The rest of them are where they are.
Yeah, so I'm in melee range of this one, so I whip out my rapier and I go for a stab. And
Go for it.
That is going to be... Oh no, a 12. I should have given inspiration to myself and can't do that. Okay. 12.
12.
Wait, can you give inspiration to yourself?
I don't think so.
12 is gonna hit.
Oh, it does! Yay!
Yeah. Level 1 monsters, baby.
8 piercing
damage.
damage.
All right.
So-
So that's
I knew these were bad darts.
8 damage. So as you as you pull out your rapier, go ah, and just pierce straight into this strange flying mud creature. You just pierce into it. And it goes. Ah!
Let go of the cow.
It does not let go of the cow. Next, we're going to go to Brapsi.
Brapsi.
You're aware if that stuff's going on. There's lots of commotion, but you don't actually have a line of sight of anything dangerous. You just see everybody moving into position, getting really tense.
Mm-hmm. Well, heck. There's a way I can do that, right?
Do what?
Is that a Rule 20 thing? How you can measure how many you're moving, or do I just have to manually count?
Oh yeah,
Each one of those is 5, but you can take out the ruler.
How do the ruler is what I'm asking.
Just click the ruler.
It's the
It's
circle
this-
with the
yeah.
little.
Ah, okay.
So, I don't know if you guys can see mine or not, but
Yes.
25 feet to him.
As everyone.
Yeah,
Ruler.
All right, class. Today, protractors.
Let me look. Where is wait, what? Where is it? I am going to cast guidance on the one who's being grabbed.
Okay, is that a touch range spell, or is
That's a good. Yeah, that is a touch. So I can't do that. Never mind. Can I ready an action and then use a? I think this is a bonus action.
You can ready any kind of action as long as you say the specific action and what its trigger is.
Okay. I would like to ready a whack if anything comes in range.
Within range. Okay.
Yeah. And then I would like to use my shillelagh.
Okay, is that a bonus action to
That
cast
is
Shillelagh?
a bonus casting.
Yes, I will allow you to cast Shillelagh, and if you'd like to describe what happens there with your Shillelagh magically.
Should I read it verbatim or just?
No, just if it's anything special.
He's giving you the opportunity to add some flavor
Add
if
some
you want.
flavor.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know
Bloom
what
into
kind of flavor that would be. I just get swole for a sec.
All right, so you see her little birdie arms.
No,
just kinda-
don't make me swole. That's weird.
Okay, how about this? So as she pulls her quarterstaff, you have a quarterstaff, right?
Yes.
As she pulls her quarterstaff out, you see as she spins it, it begins to glow with a small pink light that emits from it, emboldening the shillelagh
Okay.
that is her staff, giving it additional damage.
I am
so as the pink glow-
saltified.
as the pink glow comes from her staff in front of her, that'll be her turn. You're preparing to whack anything that comes within range of you, which is 5 feet. That's going to bring us to Arin's turn.
Okie doke. I guess I keep trying to move my token on the stream and not on Roll20. That doesn't work too well.
Truly interactive streaming.
Dude, if that could happen, oh my god.
Twitch plays D&D.
I guess I will move
Character's gonna have
15
multiple
feet
personality disorder.
Okay.
in
that's-
behind that thing,
Yep, that'll give you advantage.
and I will use my quarterstaff and whack it with 2 hands.
Ooh, big swag.
Oh, it's a 20 to hit.
Yeah, that's gonna hit by a lot.
10 bludgeoning.
Yeah. So you pop up behind this thing, take your quarterstaff, lift it above your head, and then just slam it down on this thing, and you watch as the mud parts and explodes. I'm going to need. Jeez, that's crazy. I'm going to need everybody within a 5-foot radius. That's going to be you, Arn, and also you, Grim, to make a dexterity saving throw for me.
17.
17?
Yep.
Okay.
That does include me too, right?
Yeah.
You do.
I would think so.
Oh, I wasn't sure.
Dexterity saving
Yes,
throw.
you as well.
9.
Okay. So both Grim and Setamara are these mud creatures explode, covering you in mud that soaks and pulls you in towards the ground. You're restrained for the next round.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Is the thing
Whoops.
It
dead?
is dead. Yeah,
Okay.
it exploded and turned into mud, and they're restrained until the end of your next turn.
Cool. And then I'm going to just move back right here, next to my buddy. And that's it.
Okay. That's going to put us at Greed.
So, quick question: am I able to move through people, or if someone
Yes, you can
is...
move through. You can move through players. You cannot move through enemies freely.
Okay, and then the guy in front of Grim is gone now.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
All good. I was just making sure.
He's just splattered.
So I'm gonna move. Ooh, okay.
He's not gone. He's just everywhere.
Over here. And then I guess just point at the one directly in front of me and cast Eldritch Blast.
Go for it.
No.
Oh.
Wow.
Look at
Wow.
that.
That's
Hit both ends of the
extreme.
spectrum on that.
Alright, so as you are you pulling your tome, and I want to know how you catch Eldritch Blast actually.
You bunked it.
I think that would just be out of the hand if it's just
Up to
Eldritch
you.
Blast.
However you
Okay.
want to flare it off.
Oh, you've seen that kid in My Hero Academia with the light that comes out of his stomach?
Jesus Christ.
It's like,
No. No, I fucking hate that guy so much.
No, I'm not
Belly
gonna
button laser.
scam on this.
Yeah.
No, okay. No, okay. So, as you begin to bring your hand up and reach out towards this strange creature, mixed with like mud and in strange shapes in front of you, your hand raises up and you see this crackle of green energy arc between somewhere near your chest and
We
out towards your fingers.
somebody in chat did redeem a reroll, so.
Oh, reroll.
Oh, I love whoever that was.
So you
Thank
might
you
actually
very
get-
much,
all this is
Goblin.
good up until this point.
So go ahead and reroll.
And, okay,
16.
16.
All right. So as it looks like, oh, I'm going to miss, something like grabs hold of you, some unseen force, and you just feel this big hit of this heartbeat in your chest, and your eyes focus and narrow in, and just
Uh-oh.
as you release
I got
this,
re-rolled again.
oh shit.
You may need to raise the price of that slightly.
Okay.
Oh, damn it.
All right.
Yeah.
And you release this arch of green energy. Continue.
And where does it go?
14.
And it just flies forward and it hits this thing square in the chest.
Oh my god.
Go ahead and roll damage.
7 points of damage.
All right, it collides with it, and you see like mud just fly off and splatter across the wall like blood and viscera. All right, that is your turn, unless you would like to do something else.
I
Jesus.
think I used... Oh god. I was in front of, so... I used 20 feet. No, I'll just stay where I'm at.
Okay, good. All right. So, so you've made contact with that creature. That's gonna put us at Mitnir.
Yeah, I'm just gonna run in. Oh, yeah, unselect that. And I'm gonna put myself, right in the middle of it. And I'm gonna just swing at the one I'm looking at that hasn't been touched yet.
Okay.
It's an 11.
That just hits.
Wait. For 11 slashing.
Holy shit. You arc your great axe through this creature and you watch as the mud just flies against the wall and goes and like swings back at you. Or begins to like arch back, being prepared to swing. That's gonna put us at Grim.
Grim's just gonna Kind of scratch at the back of his head. Pull off a little flea. Flick it at the one that the warlock shot.
Mm.
That's
Oh,
that's a
oh.
DC.
Sorry, I didn't know what the thing was. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
Cast the word we're not allowed.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so you did that. Constitution save? It fails.
All right, so it takes 3 poison, right? How does it go? How does this work exactly?
Now, do you click that thing down there to see what it does? I don't know.
And is it just 1d6 damage?
I think that's.
I think that's the
it's
damage.
Yeah, it's 3
I
poison
don't know what the
damage.
specifics of the spell are. So
Okay, so.
Oh yeah, that is. It's 3.
Yeah, and then. So it takes 1d6 and moves 5 feet in a random direction it can move, and its speed is at least 5. Roll a d4 for the direction.
okay,
So
gotcha.
1 is north, 2 is south, 3 is east, 4 is west.
Okay, it will move towards the back wall.
Okay.
I got an attack.
That gives you
opportunity?
no, because it is
It
not.
does not.
It is
Yeah.
not an intentional move made by the creature.
Dang.
It
okay.
says specifically that it doesn't
Okay.
provoke opportunity attacks.
I was curious. I was like, I might be able to kill it.
Yeah, I thought for a second I was like, wait, but then I was like, no, actually, because
Yeah.
they made a rule specifically for that because it's OP if forced
Gotcha.
movement procs attack opportunity.
Yeah, that was the fun of Sorcedins.
Yeah. Okay, so that is Grimm's turn. Would you like to move anymore, or are you done?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, cool. As it
Throwing
wails as something seems to bother it, it will then doesn't have any continued issues, right? It can move and attack normally.
No, yeah, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Well, it's gonna move back in after what you just did and attack you.
But it's fine.
The other one will attack as well. Ooh! I forgot what these things are capable of. Let's go, baby.
Uh-oh.
Mudbird, you splash. Oh, it's getting really dark. I need to turn
Would
the
it
light
would
on.
it be mud slap?
I don't know. How bad is it look on there? Oh yeah, I gotta turn the light on.
Okay.
Hey,
Um,
Gag, you said Grim and Setimira are restrained, right?
You are restrained until the end of your next turn.
Okay, so your attack on Grim has advantage then.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. He was front. So my attack on Grim will have advantage. So he's just gonna slap. That's his whole thing. He's gonna take his fist. He's gonna punch you. Oh god, that just flew off. Let's roll it again. That is bad. That is a 13 to hit.
To hit Grim.
Yes.
His AC is loading.
What's your AC?
14.
Oh, he's not attack.
14.
It does not hit. Oh wait, advantage. Still doesn't hit. So it swings at you, and just with its fist, it goes, and just like even though you're restrained, you just kind of dodge out of the way, get the fist, like stop it, put your hand on its head as it swings at you wildly as it flips its wings around, splashing mud all around it. The other one, on the other hand, looks at the creature that just attacked it and goes, whoa, whoa, and then opens its mouth, and you see as mud spews out of its mouth and comes all over you.
Don't say it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it just like
Context
that.
and phrasing.
Yep. Viscous mud just pours all over your body. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
So for this one, is it just hit dexterity on the side here?
Yep.
No, it's
20.
the saving throw.
Natural 20. Doesn't matter.
I was like, I
That's
don't know
a-
where that is.
That's
roll
a
a natural
dexterity
20.
check.
Yeah, so if you have proficiency in saving throws, it'll be higher of that type.
It's under proficiency bonus. There's a box there with saving throws.
Okay. No, I don't.
Either way, I'm gonna give it to him because it was a natural 20. So as it
I see.
throws the thing up out in front of you, you just completely sidestep it, and you just kind of look. It's just like it's kind of like a cat coughing up a hairball of mud. Like you're just like, that was cute. That's their turn.
Just like,
That's their turns. It's gonna go ahead and put us right back at the top at SETI.
Okay, so I'm restrained, but I can still talk, yes?
Yeah, you can still talk. You can still attack too, I believe.
Oh, I,
If you have a ranged attack, you can, yeah.
I
Yeah, you just can't move.
do not have a ranged attack. But I can, well, I have a spell. So I want to target the one that hasn't been hit yet.
They've both been hit.
They both been hit. Which one looks
For about the same
less? Okay, doesn't matter
They
then.
both look like they've got some mud chunked off of them.
Let's do the one right in nearest to me. And Seti closes her eyes, and only the creature can hear this in its head. And she says, and when she opens her eyes, they're like all entirely black. And the creature hears that like banging around in his head, and he gets like this intense pain in his chest.
Don't worry, he fails.
If he, yeah, I was going to say, if he doesn't make a 14 save.
No, he rolled a 3. So
So the
I'm
damage,
rolling real bad.
damage for that is, ooh, it says 13 here, but it's 14 on D&D Beyond. But anyway,
okay.
9 psychic.
9 psychic damage. Which one was this? The one closer to you?
Yeah.
All right. So you watch as she goes. You see like this language you don't understand start pouring out of her mouth. It starts.
Nobody can hear it
twitching.
except the bad guy.
It starts twitching and shaking and holding onto its head, and then it explodes.
Uh,
Make another
Mood,
dexterity check.
Mood, I need you to make another dexterity saving throw.
Oops.
You are also restrained for until the end of your next turn.
That's fine. I'm already where I need to be.
That's totally fine. You succeeded this one, but you're already restrained, so it doesn't matter.
But it was only to the end of my next turn, right?
Yeah, still only till the end of your next turn because you haven't gone yet. And so
No,
you're still...
I went after. Wait. Yeah, no, I went after that last one that died.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So now you
Now
can't
I'm
move until
not
the end of your
restrained.
next turn.
No, I'm good now.
No, you're still restrained. This is only the second round.
Oh, no. It's right. He's right because it was the end of his next turn. Was no. This is the
Nope.
second round.
The
Yeah,
thing
you're still
died
restrained.
He was restrained.
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
still restrained to the end of your next round. It doesn't matter if the thing dies. Like Mud's still doing his thing.
No, that's not what I.
Because he had a
He said
turn
it
after he got
died
restrained.
before his turn.
Yeah, like the thing died before my turn. That's what I was saying.
Okay, yeah, that's
And then
cool.
and then my turn, and then I was anyway.
Okay, sure. Oh, I get you. All right, gotcha. All right. So there. Who was that?
Me.
Seti. Okay, so Propsy. Sorry, everything got very confusing for a second. Things that do things on death make things confusing for me when I have 6 players.
I don't know. I don't want to be anywhere near that. Good luck.
There's that one over there. It's a mud monster. It kind of looks like the most deranged depiction of a fairy or a pixie ever.
Here's the thing. I don't want none of that. And I don't really got much range shit on me, so I don't know what I can do.
You can just pass turn.
You don't have any fleas you can flick at them?
But most of us bathe regularly. Well, try to bathe regularly.
Now you can if you want to you can just tap guidance on the nearest player and just move on with your day.
Wait, is guidance a cantrip or a...
Mhm.
Yeah, it's cantrip.
Oh, it's a cantrip, sure, okay.
Just
The
tap somebody, give them some
the
guidance.
hard one, because she's the only one that doesn't scare me.
Hey.
All right, so you tap her on the shoulder, and you grant guidance. So as you tap into this strange call, this energy that flows through you from someplace beyond this plane, you find yourself becoming slightly more swift, and this feeling is of like a swift wind at your back overwhelms you. Setamara.
Okay, cool.
Cool. So that's gonna put us at Arin.
Okay. Let me see. So I'll just move here. And whack it. Ooh, maybe not.
That is going to miss. As you swing out towards it, it goes, pulls up against and slaps itself against the wall, but you just barely, narrowly, like, touch its nose, just by a hair missing it.
Right on.
All right, is that all you got?
I can do an unarmed strike as a bonus action.
Go for it.
So I will attempt that.
You're going to touch the mud?
Ooh,
22 definitely hits.
Hit it.
for 5 damage.
Okay. Well, you punch it straight in the gut, and when you do, like the mud splats against the wall, and you see there's just a hollow hole in its chest. As you pull your hand back, the hole just kind of drips back together.
Yak.
It's just a pile of mud, guys, that flies.
Still alive though?
It is still flipping around.
I think it's already dead.
So that's gonna be greed.
Hello.
Greed? Muted?
Sorry.
It happens.
My bad.
So you're
I think-
moving.
yeah, I was just gonna move over here and then,
Eldritch.
yeah, just kind of go. You guys are already kind of dirty, and just cast Eldritch Blast.
Okay. 23 definite hit.
All right, and then 4 points of force damage.
4 points of force damage. That's enough. So as you fire this Eldritch Blast, the green crackling energy slams against it. It splats against the wall, just creating this shape of wings and outstretched arms and legs against it. And this cartoon barrel is no more.
Oh no.
All right. So yeah, all these critters seem to have died. You find yourself in the same location as you were before, and then coming up from behind, you see, oh, good. My sketch is totally done. Have you found anything interesting?
Just all covered in mud.
Now Grim is going to dig through the mud.
Make an investigation check.
Not my strong suit.
Yeah, you cover yourself in even more mud than before.
You find a pair of wings.
Yeah, no, he just finds more mud. There's no wings, there's no bones, there's no nothing. It's just more mud.
Just mud.
You just flicking
Would
around
I
in mud.
know anything about these creatures? Have heard of them somewhere?
Make an Arcana check.
Oh, that's the one I'm proficient in. Oh, but 13.
Something about it sort of eludes you, but it does definitely sound. Just from what you've seen, it reminds you of something that might have existed on the elemental plane. Definitely something elemental is hitting your radar, but you're not sure exactly what it is.
We got a reroll for Grim.
Oh shit.
He's gonna dig through the mud again.
I will dig again. Hold on, guys.
Properly this time, right?
I don't have that one open.
At
15.
mud.
As you're digging through the mud, you're continuing to dig through the mud. While he says, maybe something elemental. You refuse to stop, and as you continue to just
Like the
sludge
feeling.
through, pouring it bit by bit, left and right, you come across something very strange. It looks like a small little bead, but it's brown and murky, and dark.
That's cool. Put it in my pocket.
Okay.
Found a rock.
Does anybody else want to do anything? Oh!
I just
Did you find any interesting things? I saw you put something in your pocket. Was it another sculpture or something of the like? Anything with this large tableau of artwork that fills this gate?
Cleary.
No, Blue Man. It was a brown rock. It's probably a mud bird turd.
And mud! I'm gonna just like fling mud at him as I say it.
He's gonna attempt to dodge. He doesn't. He's covered in mud. He's like, my drawings! Oh.
Look, we just had a big fight. Let's just... never go anywhere without prestidigitation prepared. Ugh.
It's okay, they were terrible drawings anyways. I was so excited, I was shaking all over the place.
Put my sword back.
Well, all of you lead the way, I suppose. There's so much more to explore. Look at here. And as he turns and you guys look over the expanse, I will go ahead and reveal a little bit more. You can see there is... Oops, nope. Give me the reveal thing. I hate this thing so much.
There's an oop-dopes.
You can see that there is this sort of icy ravine below you where a bridge used to be, but seems to have worn away. And then otherwise, looking out onto this, you see that there is a pathway leading... I can go ahead and reveal all this. A pathway leading to the left and to the right. Large section of rock in the middle.
Okay.
Is anybody good at fixing bridges?
So looking down, the icy sort of like looks like a slushy icy sort of mix below you. It's about 40 feet down.
Yikes. Well, we could go back to where the drop was only like 10 feet and then just jump down and see what happens.
Because you can see where there's like that small little outlet right here. Well, hold up, I'm on the wrong thing again. I hate the tools in this thing. So that's only like, that right there is about 25 feet. And this right here is about 10 feet.
I don't know. I don't think we could get across it to see what's on the other side where the bridge was.
I Leroy Jenkins myself and jump down the 10 feet.
Make a dexterity check. Athletics. Or, sorry, not athletics. Acrobatics.
Ah, shit.
I'm gonna follow as he's jumping. Just, yeah.
Oh, hey, 13.
Me too.
13? Yeah, I'd say for 10 feet. I don't remember what the rules are for 10 feet drops because it's so mundane. I'm going to say you're fine.
Cool.
Oh no, I rolled a 5.
Cinemara...
Can I try to catch her?
I would say because she just jumped right behind you. You don't really have time for that. Cinemara, you take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as you trip and slap your knee right onto the cold, slick stone. You land right, but then the lichen is just so slick, it just pulls your leg out from under you and you slam your knee down.
I used to be better at this, you know.
I'm going to assume that since I'm a 7-foot-tall furbolg, I can
could climb down
lower
pretty
myself
fucking easy.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not sure whether I have to roll for this.
Yeah. I'm 6 feet. I could have just lowered myself.
Shorty.
Yeah, instead you jumped off the 10 feet instead
I'm
of
pretty
just
sure
well,
with my arms up, that's more than 10 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd make you make an athletics check, but you're fine. It's so easy for you.
I just sort of, like, if I fall, I'm going to fall, like 2 inches?
And
Can
you see
I-
he goes, oh, I'm going to go down. Yeah. Climbing his way down. He rolled fine. All right, what's going on?
Oh, I was just gonna say I was gonna help Cleary down, but if he's down, he's down.
Oh yeah, Clear's fine. He's pretty tall. He's like 7 feet tall. So
Right.
this is yeah. Not
Oren will look over to Bropsy and be like, do you want to get on my back or do you want to take care of this yourself?
She'll climb on his back.
Oh,
And then I'll hop down
okay.
with her on my back.
Yeah, make an athletics check.
Can I guidance?
Acrobatics, you
Sure.
mean?
Acrobatics, that's the one.
Oh, I
Yeah,
had
yeah.
guidance. Damn it.
21. Perfect. Yeah, you land kind of silently. It's like you definitely wouldn't believe that there are two people that just jumped off of a 10-foot ledge, just with zero slip or slide, just
Okay, now you are
Nice.
really cool.
easy calm landing. So you guys find yourselves at the bottom of this area. It is up to you where you want to explore or check out. But we are coming in close to our end point here for.
Just a real quick, I go and I check out this left-hand path.
Okay, you go check out the left-hand area. It goes back.
Tunnel. I'll check the right-hander.
I can see pretty far. I have dark vision.
It goes back. It goes back.
There any more mud piles?
Dude, stop. Thing.
Yeah, I'm going to walk like another.
It goes back.
Oh no. Okay, it goes back pretty far, guys.
Don't worry, I have a glowy stick. I'll help you.
I don't think we should split up.
But do we go this way or do we go that way?
We can go your way. Just circle back around.
We will go his way.
I'm gonna laugh if it's just a circle.
You look this way, and there's using context clues. It's a fucking circle.
so we yeah, we walk around and we're like,
Grim, did you go past that way?
Which way?
The rest of this way?
This way. Why not? I guess.
I need you to make a perception check for me.
He gets waylaid by more mud.
Mhm.
I got a glow stick. I'm good. Where's my roly doilies? What I roll?
7.
Yeah, you're really distracted by the lichen on the ground, and you just keep walking.
We'll like it.
Oh, gotta re-roll.
Roll that perception.
Oh, you know what? I think there might have been something back there. I should really check again.
I should really check again.
That lichen looked really
I
tasty.
was kind of distracted by that lichen. Let me just try that. Character sheet. Somebody's doing something.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
You know
that
what?
lichen is
It is
very
better.
nice.
It wasn't even that hard to see with his passive perception. You would have seen it. So.
Oh, with my 15.
Yeah. So because you did the reroll, I'm going to give him his passive perception, which I should have just done to begin with. You see, looking into this little crevice right here, that there is another sculpture like recessed inset, which has 3 different. It's almost a matched artistic piece to the sculpture outside, where it has 3 different ones going up and around, and then one at the center of these strange pixie-like creatures, except these are actually the creatures you have seen. Each one of them in their hands holds outstretched, and you can see, even with your passive perception, that there is a tiny little divot, round and about the size of a marble.
Also, they need the marbles.
Yep. And with that, we'll go ahead and end our session, I guess.